Hi ma'am, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Ma'am, you visited a number of book festivals in the past, from London to Mumbai and now Sharjah. So what do you think these book festivals are able to achieve?
Well, one, the encouraging part of any lit fest is that authors get to meet readers. To me, that is the single most important thing. Because otherwise, writing is a very lonely profession. You write in isolation, your book is out there, it gets published. You don't always know who your reader is. But I've seen the enthusiasm with which not just publishers participate, but the number of readers who turn up. And for them to interact with an author whose byline they're familiar with, but they've never really had the opportunity to ask the person, why did you write this, or what is the meaning behind that, or what about this book, or what you're writing next. It's the kind of personal interface that is very important to the reader as well as to the author. And from the trade point of view, a lit fest gets together publishers from sometimes across the world. And it's a great opportunity also for publishers and authors to interact and for rights of the books to be sold in other countries, in other languages. So as a trade activity, it's very, very key.
We're now living in an era where the world is getting more and more digitalized. So what do you think is the relevance of paperback books in the world of digital era?
Well, I see books coexisting quite comfortably. It's like when television became very big and television news became the hottest medium, people thought the newspaper would die out, but it hasn't. So people have a choice today. They can watch television, they can watch the news, they can read the news, they can read analysis, they can read comment in a newspaper, which they don't always get on television. So similarly, the physical book, I think for a lot of readers, will continue to be maybe a preferred book. But a younger generation is going to switch to digitalized books. But still, I feel that the kind of sensual experience that you derive from holding a book, turning its pages, even just the smell and even aging of a book is something that can't be easily beaten.
Being aware and opinionated is almost a prerequisite in today's era of information overload. As an individualistic person yourself, do you believe this quality acts as an asset for a person?
Well, you know, to be able to explain, to express an opinion, there has to be something behind that opinion. It can't be a random opinion. You have to have some authority. You have to have some experience. You got to have an informed comment to make on any situation.
Right.
And you have to have credibility. You can't just keep shooting your mouth off on anything and everything. And no one's going to listen. So for those people who call themselves or are perceived as opinion shapers or opinion makers, it's because their opinions count and people look out for that opinion because it also gives them perspectives. So it's wonderful to be able to express your opinion freely, and in a democracy we should take advantage of that. That's what the blogosphere is there for. And Twitter, of course, it's an all-out war on Twitter, which is fabulous. It's fantastic. It's very democratic. So the more opinion you have as a young person, the better it is. But it should always be backed by knowledge. And also opinion carries responsibility as well.
In this region, particularly of late, a number of students aspire to be writers. So as a writer yourself, and an accomplished one at that, what would you like to tell the students to do?
Well, you know, for young writers, the most important thing to retain is originality. So you mustn't try and write like someone else. You have to find your own voice. And as a publisher myself, that's what I look for. When I get manuscripts from young writers, and I get a lot of them, I get maybe 10 a week. But you can always tell a writer who's trying to ape a senior writer and a writer who really has the confidence to say what he or she wants to say in their own unique way. So I would say the more you write, the better you get at it. It's a little like classical music, like doing riyaz. If you do it every morning, your voice is that much more supple. So if you write every day of your life, even if it's 500 words, your writing becomes more supple and just gets better.
And finally, ma'am, you've written for a number of columns in newspapers, magazines, even penned a TV show, gone on to become an anchor and then an author. So what's next for Shobhaa Day?
Well, I have a new book coming up next year. I've gone back to fiction after 13 years, so it's a huge challenge. I've been doing non-fiction all this while. And writing fiction in a way liberates you, and it's a fantastic, very freeing, wonderful feeling. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to the first of my books from my own imprint, which is the Shobhaa Day book, which I'm doing for Penguin. So which means again working with new voices, working with new authors, and coming up with books that I hope will appeal to a wide readership.
It was a pleasure having you with us here. Thank you for speaking to Manipal.
My pleasure. Thank you again.